Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're in modern IT support, you know the drill. Today, we're taking a senior-level look at how to absolutely transform Visual Studio Code. We're talking about taking it from a basic text editor and turning it into your centralized nervous system for production support. Trust me, the days of juggling a dozen fragmented tools, yeah, they're officially over.
But here's the massive elephant in the room. The VS Code Marketplace has over 50,000 extensions. 50,000! That kind of scale is basically a one-way ticket to editor bloat, which is exactly what slows you down when literally every single second counts. So we're going to need some strict curation to cut through all that noise and find the tools that actually move the needle during high-stakes incident response.
Seriously, think about your last major production incident. How much time did you waste just context switching? As modern support engineers, we lose critical minutes constantly toggling between fragmented CLI tools, a dozen browser windows, and standalone API clients. Every time you switch a window, you break your focus, right? Well, our curated toolkit is built to solve exactly this.
Okay, let's dive right into this. First up is our operational category on visibility. I mean, you simply can't fix what you can't see. Clearly, right? And we're kicking things off with the log file highlighter. Picture this, a sleek, dark-themed, split screen right in your editor. You've got this massive raw log file just streaming in on the right. What this extension does is apply a custom, color-coded visual syntax to that giant wall of text. It has this awesome tail mode that automatically scrolls as new lines append, so basically replaces your terminal's tail F command. Boom! Live production anomalies just instantly pop out in full color.
Now, what's really interesting about this next slide is how we handle API validation natively. Instead of jumping out to standalone apps like Postman, we're looking at two distinct philosophies here. Thunder Client gives you a really slick, GUI-driven tab with local data storage, while REST Client goes for a purely text-based approach that syncs flawlessly with Git. Let's break both of these down.
So, REST Client. This one is absolutely perfect for the engineer who lives and breathes the documentation as code paradigm. You're writing HTTP requests in plain text, .http files, right there next to your source code. Imagine a new developer needs to test a user creation endpoint. Instead of waiting around for some workspace invite, they just open a repo file and fire a raw payload directly. It completely documents itself and entirely eliminates that context switching we just talked about.
On the flip side, if you're more of a visual person, Thunder Client is your jam. It provides a super lightweight, GUI-driven interface right inside VS Code. Your API collection stays safely in your workspace, but you get all the power of graphical request chaining. And crucially, Thunder Client packs advanced support for testing high-performance internal microservices using gRPC, so it's a total powerhouse for heavy API testing.
Moving on to Section 2, Access and Infrastructure. We've got the logs, we've validated the APIs, now it's time to actually get into the remote servers and containers where the code actually lives.
When it comes to remote access, Microsoft's Remote SSH extension is honestly non-negotiable. It securely tunnels right into your production or staging hosts using advanced techniques like proxy jump. So instead of fighting with Vim over a laggy connection, we've all been there, you just use your local VS Code interface to edit remote files with zero local latency. All your themes, your key bindings, your extensions, they all just work. It feels like magic.
Okay, so you're in the code base, but now you need context. Enter GitLens. Let's set the scene. It's midnight, production is hard down, and the authentication logic is failing. Who touched this last, and why? GitLens gives you these brilliant inline blame annotations. You literally just hover over the code, and it reveals exactly who wrote it, when they wrote it, and the commit message. It is the absolute ultimate forensic tool.
And since modern ops run on microservices, you're definitely going to need the Docker Container Tools pack. This gives you a really clean sidebar showing all your running containers, images, and volumes. But for support teams, the real game changer here is one-click debugging. You can attach a shell straight to a container to trace, say, a timeout error, completely bypassing the need for typing out complex terminal commands.
And this brilliantly illustrates our next evolution, dev containers. How many times have you heard someone say, well, it works on my machine? Dev containers basically eradicate that phrase. By defining your entire environment in a single configuration file, you guarantee that every engineer has the exact same toolchain. For support, this gives you a clean rooms strategy, meaning you're troubleshooting in a perfectly standardized environment every single time.
Moving right along to Section 3, Rapid Incident Response.
When the clock is ticking, speed and collaboration are literally everything. So, you're under pressure dealing with massive log dumps. Acacia Log is a total lifesaver here. Modern apps spit out structured JCL files, which are great for machines, but totally terrible for human eyes. Acacia Log has this slick conversion wizard. 4 quick steps, and it transforms gigabytes of unstructured data into highly readable plain text logs. You can spot anomalies almost instantly.
But hey, sometimes you just can't solve it alone. During a high-stakes incident, you definitely don't have time to wait for a colleague to clone a repo. That's where Visual Studio Live Share comes in. It enables secure, real-time pair programming. You just shoot over a link, and your teammate joins your session with shared terminal access. You're tracing execution together, right there on the spot.
To keep moving fast without hunting for those tiny red squiggles, we lean on Error Lens. It aggressively highlights warnings and errors in line, exactly as you type. Actually, quick pro tip on this one. Go into your settings and tone down the background opacity to about 15%. That way you get the immediate visual feedback without the colors just absolutely screaming at you.
And we round out the toolkit with To-Do Tree. Look, during an incident, you're often throwing in a quick workaround to stop the bleeding. To-Do Tree scans your entire workspace for tags like Fix Me and Hack, and then organizes them neatly in your sidebar. It's fantastic because it ensures that the technical debt you grab during a rapid response is easily tracked so it doesn't accidentally become permanent legacy code.
Let's move to the final piece and see how this all builds into a totally cohesive, professional strategy.
Just look at the contrast here. Before doing this, an IT support workflow was basically a chaotic dance, right? Fragmented CLI tools, external browser windows, and endless context switching. But by curating your extensions, this after scenario is a hyper-efficient, next-level architecture. You've got a centralized interface where debugging, inline historical insights, API testing, and remote infrastructure access are all happening right there under a single pane of glass.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Are you ready to turn your editor into an absolute operational powerhouse? Seriously, take 15 minutes today to audit your current extensions, rip out the bloat, install these curated tools, streamline your setup, and just watch as your daily operations and incident response times completely transform. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.